So this is how you make tinga. You put all the meat. When it's cold, you put it in a big pot of water, and you put an onion in there, and you let it boil until the meat is softened, which is usually 1 to 2 hours to boil. And then once it's soft and it's been boiled already, which is like an hour to 2 hours, you take out the meat and you save the juice. You save it, do not throw it away. Just take out the meat, put it in another plate where it's going to be ready to be shredded. Once the meat is out, you start shredding it until it's tiny shreds like that. And then you slice 1 onion or 2 onions, depending on how much onion you like in your tinga. Just like that. And then the next thing is 3 tomatoes, depending on how much meat you make. If you make less meat, you only put 2 tomatoes. So yeah, you put 2 tomatoes, you cut them up like this, and then that's going to be the next step after the meat is shredded and the onion is sliced. Now the next step is sprinkling a little bit of onion on top, just like that, on the 2 or 3 tomatoes that you blend. And you're going to put 2 garlic cloves. Never mind, just 1 garlic clove. And 1 chicken flavored cube. And there was another cube added onto the tomato for more flavor, just because we are making 10 pounds of the shredded beef. Then you put some of the broth of the beef broth that you boiled the beef into the blender until it's covered up to the top. And then you put a sprinkle of the salt on top. Then on another pot you put oil. You put oil in a pot, kind of like a lot, just so all that onion can fry for a little bit. And that's the onion frying. And then that's what's left once you mix the 2 tomatoes with a little bit of onion, the 2 chicken flavored cubes, and some salt, which is like about a tablespoon or a little bit more than a tablespoon of salt on this tomato puree. The next step is, since we are making 10 pounds of shredded beef for tinga, we're gonna use 2 canned tomato sauce and a big can of chipotle peppers and a medium one. But if it's less, if you make less meat, it's less of these ingredients. But really on this one, on the peppers and the tomato sauce, it's just how spicy you like it, or it doesn't really matter about the sauce. And then the next step is you pour the blended tomatoes with the onion and the chicken flavored cubes in with the onion that was frying, and then you put some laurel leaves in there. You put about 4. Like I said, depending on how much meat you make, you put the laurel leaves on it. And the next step is you put all the open cans of the chiles and the tomato sauce. Okay, just the peppers into the blender. And then once you put just the chiles in the blender, you're going to put another garlic clove in there to blend. And then you put just a little bit of the beef broth juice in the blender. Just to mix the chipotle peppers with the garlic in. And you're gonna blend that second blender of which is just chile and garlic. And these 2 tomato cans that we opened, we put it into the onion and the other tomato blender that we had to put in there. And then you put the last blender of the chile and garlic that was blended into the pot. And you add a little bit of more beef broth in the blender to put into the pot, just so we won't use regular water. And the beef broth is just depending on how much juicy you want the tinga to be. And the last step is just putting all the shredded beef inside the pot of all the mixed ingredients. And that is all the meat in the pot. And once it's in the pot, then you get to determine how much more juice it's going to need, so it can be juicy and not too thick. So there you add a little bit of more beef broth into the other pot of the meat, so it won't be too dry. So there we're adding just a little bit of juice, which is the last step. And then that's it. You just mix everything together for a while, and you let it boil until the whole pot is boiling. And once it's boiling, you leave it another 10 minutes while it's boiling, and then that's it, and then it's ready.